Hello and welcome to GlitchCube, we're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again as we dive further into the world of games, but not just games in particular. We have something very specific for you guys this week. We are going to be discussing our game of the month, or for this case, games of the month for May. Right, so we skipped a week because, life and things like that, right? But we are here talking about May's games, it was all about Star Fox, right? Those games are typically pretty short, depending on which ones you're playing, right? Except for Adventures, it's like the only one that's like ridiculously long. So we wanted it, instead of just playing a 2-hour game, see how many games we can go through, go down some nostalgia stuff, play a little bit of Star Fox, right? Because who doesn't love Star Fox, They're all great titles. They've been around for quite a while. Everyone knows the franchise. And if you didn't know the franchise, you definitely do now because of the Nintendo announcements, the Mario movie, all that kind of stuff. Right? But I actually haven't watched the new Mario movie yet. Have you seen it?
Same.
Yeah.
Nah. I should.
Right.
I've heard things about it.
Right. I keep thinking about it. Like, the first one was fun, but
yeah.
I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Like, maybe one of these days. But I've been hooked on watching other things, right? Like I'm going down some nostalgia stuff. It's that time of the year for me to rewatch my feel good movies for some reason. You have like a list, like a bunch to go through. Like that's what I'm going through right now. Just have those in the background. It's really just one single franchise. I'm just watching all the Rocky movies, but yeah.
Oh, I was hoping to say Inuyasha, so I could judge you. Rocky's good though.
It's all Rocky all the time. But anyway,
doing Creed too?
Yeah, that's next. Now that they've added the Creed movies, my feel good marathon has expanded.
Nice.
Because I start from 1 and I just watch through the whole franchise. So now I get to watch all of Creed 1, 2, and 3 again as well. And then I'm kind of adding in Hajime no Ippo because that is the Rocky anime, which is amazing. It's so good. Like if you need like a sports anime, that is my favorite sports anime of all time. It's perfect. And if you're a Rocky fan, you'd love it. Like, it's so good. But anyway, let's talk about the Fox, man. We're talking about Mr. McCloud over here. There's a lot of games, and he's been around for quite a while. While obviously a lot of them have, or pretty much all of them, have the same final boss. Even Adventures, which you would think would be some sort of dinosaur thing. Now you still end up fighting Andros. But Andros, McCloud, Slippy, Peppy, Falco, like all of them they've always had that same look, but they've definitely evolved over time. All the games have the same feel, but they've evolved a little bit over time. So let's dive into these things. Like, which one do you want to start off with? Do you want to, it's kind of hard to pick, right? I mean, we could just start from the beginning and go from there, or how do you want to?
I kind of think that works out because we start from the old stuff and kind of move on. I definitely will include Star Fox 2 right after the first, even though we never really had it over here until a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that game was already pretty quick. But yeah, it feels like the same thing as the first. But what was your thoughts on the first game?
I really enjoyed it. It is a very quick game, right? You can beat it in 40 minutes if you really wanted to, right? I do really like the run system it has. It does feel very arcadey, which makes sense because a lot of older games were that. They were built with arcades in mind. I mean, that's what games were, right? It's what can you beat on a single quarter? And it's just bringing the arcade machine to home. And they started to expand more and more, especially on Nintendo and all that good stuff. But it still had that same vibe, right? There was just a score, how long it takes to beat something, and all that good stuff. But one of the things that I'm still very blown away by is the graphics of it, right? Yes, they are very simple, but this 3-dimensional polygon graphics on a Super Nintendo is still really cool to see, right? And even though the R-Wing looks very simple and we get different versions of it now, more modern looks and all that, the R-Wing, I can see it, right? It's only a couple of triangles that are flashing lights, but you still see the transformations, you see all that stuff. And I don't know, I just had a lot of fun with it. I feel like this is the first, or probably like one of the early versions of like choose your own adventure roguelike style, right? Like, which path are you going to take? Obviously, there's not really like splitting, branching paths, but there are difficulty levels depending on which way that you go, either path 1, 2, or 3, right? So I do really like that system a lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit better than what we would see like in 64, where it's like, oh, you found the secret behind the waterfall. Now you're going a whole different route. Like, this is more like, here's your difficulty levels. Pick the route that you want. And I remember this game as a kid. I never ended up getting it because, if I remember right, it was kind of a no, it was middle SNES lifespan, 93. But I was just really little. So by the time that like I was old enough to really kind of get into that stuff, I was already into like RPGs. But I remember
I mean, we were like what, 3 or 4? So it's not like
really, and I mean, I was playing games by 4, but I mean, did I know what I was doing? No, I was a dumb kid jumping off pitfalls in Mario. But you know, it's Star Fox for me. I mean, later on 64 would be my big thing, but the original, I did end up renting it. It was basically when they were getting rid of SNES games at Blockbuster, and I remember getting a hold of it and playing it. And back then, this was after I played Star Fox 64, so it was weird going back to it, and I didn't like it. Now, going back to it, you know, all these years, it's a very simple game. There is like 1 or 2 parts that can be kind of difficult, surprisingly, but that's just because you're so used to like, you know, 60 frames per second, like snappy controls. And this game, you know, it's
not.
It's not that. Yeah, it's not. It's not that at all. And
the depth perception in this game is so wrong. I'm just gonna say that. And
yes, it's confusing.
It's very confusing, but that's why they actually added the second reticle, which I think is really funny to me. That this game, like if you try and follow the first reticle, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like you have to lead your shot. So they added in the second reticle that looks like it's further away, but it's really just a smaller circle. So like it's kind of cool that they try to create that sense of depth with that. And that is what helps people actually play the game. Without that, you cannot, like, it's almost impossible to play Star Fox. Like, I kid you not. It's very, very difficult.
There's a reason why all of the games have that, you know, throughout its life. And, you know, this was the first game to use a Super FX chip back in the day. And there weren't many games that utilized that. You know, it started by Argonaut Software, and they primarily did PC stuff in the early days. But, you know, Star Fox and then Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island had it. Oh, and I guess the Doom version on the SNES had it. But yeah, otherwise it was a couple racing games, and that was about it. They used it. And, you know, back then, I'm trying to think, because like as a kid, by the time I was really kind of understanding games, you know, it's hard to be like, I wasn't old enough, I guess, for when this game came out to be like, wow, look at those graphics, that's futuristic. Because when I started thinking that way, I already had Mario 64. So for me, that was the future. But you know, looking at this, it's like kind of crazy that you were able to get something so futuristic looking on a Super Nintendo. And, you know, the whole original teams here, Slippy, Peppy, Falco, and the whole Star Fox concept was inspired by Miyamoto going to this shrine that he would go to regularly. And it was to the fox deity. I think it's Inari Okami.
Oh, okay, cool. I was going to ask if you looked into that, so that's actually really funny. So Star Fox and Zelda are because of shrines. Like, associated shrines. That's cool.
there's a reason, like, I kind of scrubbed through a bunch of different E3s and stuff, and Miyamoto always kind of had a soft spot for Star Fox. And I'll get into that, especially later on, regarding some of the later Star Fox games. But yeah, it always seemed like he really loved Star Fox. And the other thing, the shrine is accessed through a series of arches.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the red arches. I know they have a name. I can't think of them right now. But
I think they're the Fushigi arches. Isn't that what it is?
Fushimi, yeah. But when you look at them, they kind of have, because they're stacked so close to each other, they have this almost 3D effect, and that influenced some of the stages.
Okay, I can see that.
And I didn't know that until when I was doing research on this. Like, I knew about the Fox deity part, but I didn't know about the arches. Now looking at them, like, oh yeah, I can totally see it. It does have that like 3D effect of a corridor.
Yeah.
But it was cool playing through this. And then, jumping into Star Fox 2 was interesting because, initially I think the game was made not long after the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But they had so many ideas about it because it was a finished game.
Right.
But it was just canceled because I think it was going to be finished like really late in the console. Yeah, it was completed in 1995. And which, by then we were already going on the next consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because like the bit artwork, right? The characters have better portraits. Like the game looks like miles ahead of the first Star Fox, like in the bit looking.
The map system is so much more interesting. Like it actually feels like space travel.
Mm-hmm.
Right, where you get to kind of fly around a little bit. You might run into enemies while you're flying around. It's all like micro stages, but they're all basically like destroy this, right? And it is kind of fascinating. I do really like the artwork style of it. It is confusing as all get out, though, I will say, because it's, I mean, it's hard to do a game like this, right, back in the day. So that mini map was so crucial just to know where the hell you were. But I think that is really cool. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently they had a lot more planned for it. Like it was where we start Star Wolf, right? The rival team. Mm-hmm. I guess ideas that were implemented were the all range mode, charge shot, and apparently there was supposed to be a multiplayer mode.
That makes sense because whenever you go out, you have like two ships. There's an orange ship and a blue ship.
Yeah, and the other thing was like, oh, you were supposed to be able to like pick who you wanted to be. And I guess the big thing in this one is that you're able to kind of play as the Landmaster Walker, right? The little chicken leg thing, which surprisingly plays better than in Zero, which I will gladly rant about later on.
That's hilarious.
It's interesting. Like it's such a weird little departure and surprisingly runs well for a game this old. Like you wouldn't expect it to work as good as it does, but I was surprised.
The visuals though are a little bit more chaotic than the first one, right? I feel like the first one, it was already kind of hard to deal with like some of the depth perception stuff, but the second one, while yes it added in more and it does look cool, right? Like I like the chart shot, like some of the stuff is more interesting. It definitely is a little harder to tell exactly what's going on. I don't know. There's something about the camera angle, especially whenever you're going through those really tight corridors of the ships. I couldn't see shit in front of me. Like I would just notice explosions and be like, oh, I think I hit something. Right? Like, but your ship takes up the entire viewpoint in those like really tight corridor areas. Luckily, they're pretty short. It's just to get to the boss fight in the middle, but it does make it a little trickier.
Yeah, but it's cool. I don't know. It was fun playing that because I know when they released it on the Nintendo online service, I saw it and I'm like, I'm never going to play that. And then this kind of pushed me to do it. And I'm glad I did. I don't know. It's an interesting story, right? Yeah. Like we've heard this, over the years, games will be completed, but they just get canceled. And it's like, well, why not just release it at that point?
Yeah.
But
I'm happy we got something out of it. So I would be really curious to see more of this. Like, what if, I don't know, like, I feel like we keep getting the same remakes and things like that, and they already announced another N64 version. But I like the idea behind 2, like the story, the space exploration. Like, it might be kind of cool to see like a remake of this, right? Like, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be different.
And
it'd be nice
because
we're only getting remakes of 64.
If they did the co-op, that would be sick.
Co-op would be good.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Like actual, like explore together, not like team or deathmatch kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, like if you're both on a mission together, shooting around, and you can see your buddy, or you're both in like little chicken walkers running around, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but after that, in '97, we got Star Fox 64, which to me was one of my favorite games of all time for a very long time. To me, it might be one of my favorites on the N64 for sure, but I loved this game as a kid. I replayed it so many times. I found all the secrets. Like, it was just, I was so weirdly obsessed by it, and I was always thinking I was going to find some secret no one else did, so I just played it so much. And, years later with the internet, I realized, I did find everything. There's nothing else to find.
Right.
So, it's awesome. It was the first game to have a rumble pack and, use force feedback. So that was really
amazing. Cool. That was so much fun.
That thing was so chonky though. I just remember the controller gaining like 10 pounds with that stupid thing.
It was a break. It wasn't one that you would like hold up for too long. That's a controller sitting in your lap. That's what it's doing. It's not going anywhere else.
It made me love like the N64 games that came with accessories, because years later you'd get the expansion pack with Rogue Squadron, you'd get the microphone from Hey You Pikachu. I don't think the memory card came with the game, but that was another little thing to stuff in. But yeah, man.
But didn't you have to decide whether you're using a memory pack or a rumble?
Yes. I'm trying to think of, there was some games that really made that choice. And I don't know, that was kind of, I feel like there was a third party controller that let you do both, but I
think there was, but I just think it's so crazy that like, well, which one do you want? Do you want to feel it or do you want to save your game? Right? Like, it's like, well, shit, I guess I'll save. I don't know. Right? Like, it's just such a funny thing that back in the day, having because all it is a DC motor that spins, right? It's just a haptic DC motor. That's all it is. And it's not like it's difficult technology to make, but it was just so big, so clunky, and just kind of inconvenient, but I loved it, right? I loved every second of it.
What's interesting is apparently when they were doing like the early development and they did the Rumble Pack, they didn't know how to utilize the Rumble Pack correctly. So people playtesting were confused why their controller would just vibrate.
Well, it's the first time, right? So it kind of makes sense that people would be confused. Like, that would be a weird thing. It's like, what the hell? This thing's shaking. But now, like, haptic feedback is such a big thing, right? Like, but that's something very common with Nintendo. Nintendo has always been, like, weird controller people, right? And everyone's always talked crap about the controllers, and the next generation, everyone mimics it, right? So, like, Rumble was like, oh, what is this crap? And then, was it PlayStation 1 or PS2? Or the DualShock 2 that came with the Rumble
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, like, it wasn't until then that we had a controller that was automatically just a part of it, right? And then now it's just forever ingrained in our minds. But Nintendo technically did it first, even though they did it a really weird way with a giant, like, 10-pound battery stuck on the back.
Yeah, because I think the Dreamcast had a Rumble Pack as well. That I don't remember ever seeing Oh, yeah, no, I do remember this thing. This thing looked weird, too. But they had a Rumble Pack as well. So, yeah, it was weird that we didn't really get a controller Rumble until that many years later.
Right. But anyway, N64, Star Fox 64, man, like this was the game for me. Like at least for me, this was the first time I really dove into Star Fox, and I just have so many fond memories of it. Like it was so much fun. This was obviously it had the iconic barrel roll, but then it also had like the cool flip that you can do to get out of the way of things, which just made it feel like so much better. I don't know. There was something so nice about this game, and I love the fact that like you can kind of see, you know, I don't know. There's something really pleasing for like my lizard brain of the ending of a stage, right? Where it's like mission complete and you hear like the right? Like, I don't know. There's something about the noises that it was, the little chatter between your crew, you guys just kind of flying in unison. I know the other Star Fox game did that, but the way that 64 did it, it just felt so much more like, hell yeah, I did it, right? And then obviously on top of it, there's the secrets that you go through hunting and everything like that. Like I didn't own N64, my uncle did, and he had this game, so this was just like a weekend play for me. So every time I went over to their house, I just replay Star Fox. And then whenever I wasn't playing Star Fox, I was drawing Star Fox. Like I loved the artwork so much. I loved the design of the R-Wing, just everything about it. That train level still lives rent-free in my brain forever. I love that boss. Right? Like, there's so many little things about this game that are so great. And one of the things I really appreciate from the N64 version is the camera feels a little bit more pulled back, like Star Fox 1, right? Like Star Fox 2, they seem to like zoom in a little too much, and they kept your ship right in the middle. But in this one, you really feel the 3D. It feels more like regular, like a good flying game, because you can go all over the screen, right? And there's something about that where the camera will follow you, but it's on like a little bit of a delay. And it just felt good whenever it came to controlling it, all that. Of course, it had the double reticle once again, which is now just kind of becoming just an iconic look of Star Fox, which you don't need it right as much. But things weren't as flashy, I would say. It was much easier to see. I don't know. There was so much about this that I really, really enjoyed. And I get it that why they keep remaking 64, because it's kind of the perfect Star Fox game, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like it is the best one. 100%, right? Like the 1 was great, 2 was really fun. Unfortunately, it didn't go all the way, right? But 64 was the perfect Star Fox game. And while yes, other Star Fox games have come out since 64, there's something about the magic of this one that they have not been able to touch. And I don't know why they keep messing it up. Like, what is it that they're missing? Like, what is the secret sauce that they keep missing out on? Because it doesn't seem like a difficult game to replicate or to modify or make better, right? Like, what is it that they keep adding too much? Or are they, like, trying too many different things? Maybe there's too many dinosaurs in the next one, not enough dinosaurs, right? Like, it feels like after this, they definitely got lost in the game.
Yeah, it is kind of like, and this isn't nostalgia speaking, like it does feel like they perfected it with the way like the alternate paths take, you know, like you said, the train stays in your mind. For me, it's the underwater where you're in like the blue marine submarine.
That one's awesome.
Like that one, or the one that's like Independence Day, like kind of early on, but there's like that big building in the middle and you have to fly around and protect it. Like, I don't know. There's just so many things about this game that are just done so well. And considering it was on the N64, I'm like, you know, it looked great for the time. I felt like it played great. I love that your squad mates, when their ships would be super damaged, you know, you would see that their wing missing or they'd have to leave.
Yeah.
But I also loved that each squad mate had a job. Right, so
Yeah.
Slippy would scan bosses and show the shields. Peppy would give you advice, and Falco would usually give you like, "Oh, here's this secret path. Come over here." And you know, obviously there were other people that would come and help in some stages, but man, there was just so much. And you know, I guess I'll speak about it here because it would be kind of a weird placement later. But I mean, it a 3D remake on the DS, and I actually played through that version as well. I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, I mean, it's just a little bit touched up, but to me, I'm like, it's the perfect kind of remake. And I respect that. I feel like there was nothing really new added. I think there was like a gyro control added to it, which in a 3DS, it kind of works. I kind of like it, not with the Wii U pad. But yeah, it also had online multiplayer in that one too. But, in the original game, there was just a lot to it. And it's interesting, like, going into the development of it. Obviously, we're not going to get into that full story, but the story behind the development is kind of interesting and kind of worth looking at, because they really did a lot to it. And it was interesting to see, like, how they kind of scrambled at some points. But it was still, like, concise, and I think it was still, in-house. They were working on it. I think every Star Fox after this, they had like an outside studio making it. So I think that might also be another reason why some of these games are a little different after 64, because it's developed by someone else.
That makes sense. I mean, so one quick little note as well about Star Fox 64. I am so, I love this game so much, and I have so much nostalgia for it. Whenever I was teaching game design to littles, right, like 9 to 12-year-olds, one of the projects that we did was recreate Star Fox. So we spent about 2 months actually having the kids code their own Star Fox game. And I kid you not, like, these children that were making these games, they've never played a Star Fox game, but they loved it. They loved the concept of the game. They got it like right away. It's one of those games that, well, yes, you can go big with it with like the secrets and things like that. But if someone just wanted to jump in and play the video game, you'd be able to figure it out right away, right? Like, there's nothing overly complicated. The design makes sense. The controls feel good. But it was a lot of fun having the kids recreate Star Fox for their little projects and just seeing them really enjoy it. Like, we spent a whole day. It was so funny. Like, just moving the ship back and forth across the screen. They just love that motion, that movement of it, and the illusion of flying forward when the ship's not ever actually moving at all itself. It's the scenery moving around you, right? And like, that little trick, that little magic trick to them was the coolest thing in the world. So there's a lot that I really enjoyed playing the game when I was younger, but then now actually like recreating it and having it as like a fun little project for some of the kids to do made it that much more special to me. So like, I really enjoyed, God, I love this franchise. But the flying ship version, the rest of it gets a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. All right, which one do you want to talk about?
Speaking of weird,
yeah, you want to go there?
I mean, next is Adventures.
Okay, let's do it.
And so it's interesting because this came out in 2002, right, for the GameCube. We're all expecting, oh man, it's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna be gorgeous. It's the GameCube.
I bought it day one.
And what's interesting,
I bought it day one. I was so ready for it because I love Star Fox. But this is before
I remember the demos.
Internet, or this is before like heavy internet YouTube videos, reviews. Like, if I had watched a review on this, I wouldn't have bought it. But I was just like, dude, it's Star Fox. I need it because of 64.
Yeah, I was the same way. I didn't end up getting it because for some weird reason, the Best Buy I lived next to had it on a kiosk, and I was playing it, and I'm like, I don't know about this, you know. And what's interesting, and I'm like, I kind of remember this, is that like 2 months before Star Fox Adventures released, they were showing footage of the next Star Fox game, Assault, which was all ships and stuff. You know, obviously we'll get into that in a minute. But it warped my mind where I'm like, oh, well, they're making a game where you're going to be in a ship, so I don't need to play this weird, on foot game.
Right.
So it was always a game I always wanted to play like all my life, and I just never did really until now. And what an experience.
Yeah.
This game is.
It
makes sense that this wasn't supposed to be a Star Fox game. It was
right.
Rare was making a game called Dinosaur Planet. And towards the end of it, Nintendo was like, no, you need to make this a Star Fox game. So they added in Fox and a couple others. Crystal and Prince Tricky, the dinosaurs were already there. But it's interesting because you look at the model of Star Fox and you're like, wow, his model looks really good compared to a lot of these other models in the game. But
he's like super high def when everyone else is not.
Yeah, I love when you get an item and he has this like weird pumped up kind of like jump. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing with his arms, but I'm like, there needs to be a GIF of that.
Yeah.
And just like, I love when he finds a new item because I'm like, dude, this beats the crap out of when Zelda or Link picks something out of a chest.
At least Fox has like a facial expression as well. Like his facial expressions are changing. Whereas Link, it's just the same. He's just like really happy. Nothing wrong with being happy, but still.
That's the thing I love about, obviously this generation of game consoles. And I know I've talked about it before, but this is where we start seeing facial animations and all that little small stuff, right? Because think about it, N64, PlayStation, just look at the Final Fantasy games. Right? Unless it was a cutscene, they weren't facially expressive.
No.
Now we're seeing it here with Fox. They're making Crystal, makes anyone turn into a furry. I'm like, God damn, dude. I can't stop looking.
Like, I get why that became a thing. I get it.
Yes. I remember as a kid, early internet days, looking into this, because this was around the time that I was getting really into game facts. So I was always on the message boards. And I just remember this game and just seeing all of the art. And I was like,
I just find it really funny that this was not a Star Fox game when they had Crystal in it already. Right?
Yeah, I think that is kind of weird.
Because the models
I think Crystal
really close.
Maybe she did get introduced when I'm trying to figure it out, like if she was made before.
Or they changed the character model. They had to have, right? Like there's no reason for both of them to be foxes.
Yeah, it looks like it sounded like she was in it before they changed the name.
That's so weird. It's so weird because it's just a whole thing of dinosaurs, and then you get this like sexy fox lady for no reason. It's like, okay, cool.
I love it. But man, that first beginning, right? Like, you're playing as her on the ship. And it feels like a Zelda game. Like this game feels like a 3D Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that's a good thing, right? Who doesn't love a 3D Zelda? But it's like, I don't know. There's something about it that does not feel like Zelda, especially when it comes to the combat, right? Yeah. I'm so used to being able to lock on. You have your shield up. It's just, the Zelda games in 3D were pretty easy with combat if they were a normal sword and board kind of fight. In this game, they're like that, but blocking is weird, dodging is weird. So it's like you're basically just trying to do back steps, and then you just keep swinging, hoping to knock them out. And sometimes it's not even doing damage to them.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of obnoxious.
You had to get a full combo off in order to do damage. But
yeah,
I think that's where it was like, okay, this doesn't really make any sense. So it made all combat, even against the like lowest grunt level person, take way too long. Right? Like you had to do a full combo, which was like 5 or 6 hits in order to take off half their hearts. So then you just had to do it again. Right? So like it just made everything feel really slow. I think everything that was on foot that with like combat and item usage felt clunky. Like it didn't feel smooth or fluid like it does in a Zelda game. Right, where it's like a little bit easier. Yes, of course, like you do. There's a lot of going back and forth between menus, switching out items in Zelda games, like especially early ones. But it just never felt good. Like nothing ever felt like it comboed well together. Like I said, blocking was just don't even think about it, right? But I think the biggest thing that was kind of confusing for me, at least when playing Adventures, is it never felt like the same game. Like. There's definitely moments where, like, when you're on foot, and then whenever you go, like into your plane or into the Arwing, it felt like two completely different games imposed on top of each other. Right. And like the shooting parts were great. Like the space stuff was really good. All the ship things. And it felt really snappy, felt smooth. It was a lot of fun. But it always just kind of felt like disconnected. Right. And I don't know. It definitely made it really difficult because the pacing was always weird. Like when we were doing like the exploration part on foot, like it feels very slow, methodical. Right, even going up ladders is really, really slow, and then all of a sudden you're in like a space fight scene. You're like, holy shit! Like I just wanted to move my landing spot. Right, like it goes into like full chaos mode sometimes, and you're like, okay, this is a lot. My brain's not there. I'm kind of used to the playing really slow right now. Now I have to do this crazy fast thing. So I don't know. There was definitely that disconnect there, and you can tell that this was not originally a Star Fox game because of that.
Yeah, I meant to send you a picture of how the original Crystal looked, because she did look pretty different before, but still, out of place compared to everything else. But, I mean, a lot of it makes sense because Dinosaur Planet was supposed to be an N64 game, and basically Rare, after Diddy Kong Racing, they split into two teams. One was working on Dinosaur Planet, the other one was Jet Force Gemini.
Got it.
And, this was way late into the N64's life. And the original Dinosaur Planet, the main character was supposed to be Timber, which was a tiger from Diddy Kong Racing. And, it obviously took too long. Their inspiration was Ocarina of Time, which you can feel. But it was supposed to, like, really utilize a lot of the strengths of the N64, right? The expansion pack, all of that. But obviously it took way too long. And, you can find original footage of the N64 game online nowadays. I think it got put out there a couple years ago. And there's like a lot to this game, basically, out there. It's a really, really big, deep dive if people want to look into this. But yeah, this game is interesting. I don't know, like after finally playing it, aside from the combat, I don't mind it. It for what it is. I really would have liked to seen like the original game done
right
with this. But yeah, it's not bad. I feel like I remember people saying they didn't like this game back in the day. And I'm like, this is serviceable, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a horrible game. I will say that. It's not a bad game. It just doesn't... I think it's because it has the Star Fox title on that. It definitely makes it less than it should be, right? Because whenever you play Star Fox, you expect something completely different. And like, I'm totally fine with the exploration part on the on-foot stuff. I think that's really cool because, expand the world, all that good stuff. But it just never really felt good. Even the when you have the staff and you have to do like the actual like shooting of targets, that never felt good. Because for some reason, he always snapped back to the center. Like, it's like the controller was always fighting you, right? Like, I don't know. There's something about it I just didn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel good. I will say that when it comes to those kind of things. But I would love to see an actual Star Fox Adventure kind of style game, but made for Star Fox from the get-go. Not a different franchise and then superimpose Star Fox on top of it all. So... I think that would be really interesting.
And this was Rare's last game with Nintendo because, they would be part of Microsoft literally the following month. So there was that whole part of it too. Yeah. And it's interesting when you look at it. And then you look at the following game to come out, which I ended up really liking in a lot of ways, was Star Fox Assault. It came out 3 years after. And this game was kind of a return to form, kind of not. It's weird. I remember this game as a teen, and I remember wanting it. But by this time, I was kind of more heavily into the PlayStation 2. So I kind of just scrapped my GameCube at this point. Because I'm a teen. GameCube is kind of, not as cool.
Yeah.
But
it's all about that Duke in the Xbox. Yeah.
Exactly. This game was developed by Namco. So
Okay.
it was a little different. Apparently, when this was first being acknowledged, people were saying like, "Oh, it's the Ace Combat team is working on this game," which ended up not happening. It was actually the team that worked on Klonoa worked on this game.
I like to think about this one as like Rocket Raccoon the game. Like that's what it reminds me of. Especially whenever you're a fox running around with the big old guns and just popping out a bazooka real quick. Like
yes. It's interesting because when you look online, everyone complains about the on foot. But in a weird way, I didn't have any problem with those controls. And I'm like, maybe it's because nowadays I'm used to old games kind of having a funky control scheme. But back then, everyone was complaining about it. My big complaint was the tank. So this game had 3 different kind of gameplay elements. You had the R-Wing based gameplay, which felt amazing in this game. It felt really good. It was, if anything, it was the best feeling of the R-Wing flying. And then you had, the Landstalker, right? The tank, which there weren't too many stages with it, but I absolutely hated the stages. Even controls aside, I hated those stages. And they get worse as you go on with it. And then you have the on foot, right? So you jump out and you get different weapons. You get a machine gun, you get a sniper rifle, RPG, and it's kind of like, oh, blast this little spire in this building and get rid of these enemies. Like very basic. And it's kind of weird, being Fox out on the ground. And I remember seeing images of this when I was younger, thinking like, what are they doing to my boy Fox? Like,
right.
What is he doing? But, overall, this game wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed the story. I think it's 1 year after the adventure story, and the new threat are the Aparoids, which are like these like weird aliens. And like, there's some twists in this. I guess twist is a wrong word, but there's like some like shock that happens, and you're like, oh my God. And it's just interesting what these creatures do because they kind of like take over things. But I really like this game. Barring the tank stuff, this game is just, I really liked it. Screw the low review scores. Like I did not mind it. It had interesting multiplayer. It has like ranked stuff in it. I didn't see like any kind of like alternate path stuff. Like it kind of is just like on rails, right? It just keeps going. So there is that kind of negative feeling to it. But overall, this game wasn't bad. I just wish that there was more R-Wing stuff because it just felt really good in this game.
Right. Visually, it looks really cool. I didn't get my hands on Assault. I wish I did, but it looks really, really fun. I will say that, regardless of what everyone is saying about it, it just it does kind of feel kind of goofy. I mean, the animations aren't the smoothest, but once again, older game, right? But it is funny to see that, like, okay, like Star Fox has accepted Assault because Crystal's in this again, right? And like we're starting to try and get into something new. I do appreciate that Assault was trying to do something different by adding in the feet things but keeping it very true to form. Like this is just mission based battles, all of that, which is what Star Fox is, right? So that part I do appreciate. I think that is kind of nice. But I don't know. It looks cool.
Yeah. It was a little different, and it basically a year later, we got another different kind of Star Fox Command for the DS. This was developed by Q Games, which I'm like, what name sounds familiar? What did they do? They did the Pixel Junk stuff years later. Interesting. Okay. And they're still around. They did Dreams of Another, All You Need Is Help, Tomorrow Children. So they're still making games. But Star Fox Command, weird. It's kind of like a fan fiction. I don't know, like the beginning shows like, oh, Fox said goodbye to Crystal because he didn't want to slow down in life. He wanted to keep flying while she wanted to settle down. And it shows this image of like her being sad and him walking away.
Oh, gosh.
And then it's like Slippy has a girlfriend, and it's like it literally looks like someone went on Tumblr and commissioned Star Fox fan art and stories and put it all in here. There's 9 possible endings,
Jesus.
by the way, in this game. And there's so many branching paths because this game plays very differently. If you remember in Star Fox 2, there was the thing where you could kind of cut off enemies and do like different paths kind of about where you wanted to move people. Well, this game has a lot of RTS elements to it. So missions take place on these little maps, and you'll have the Great Fox, which you have to defend, and enemies will be around this map. And basically you want to cut them off because your fuel is limited, and you can get a little more fuel by doing these fights, but you just want to make sure the other planes don't get to the Great Fox.
Okay.
So it just comes down to how am I optimizing my fuel usage as well as taking down enemies. It's not hard until you start getting Fog of War, which is like the 3rd mission, and then that becomes a pain in the butt because half of the units will come to you, the other ones you have to find, and it's just kind of a pain. But I think the worst part of it are the controls.
Yeah, isn't it
because
like
this
touchpad?
Yes, it's weird. So shooting is basically any button, right? Okay. So it can be the D-pad, the triggers, all the flying is done with the stylus.
Ugh,
so you're going up and down all around with the stylus blocking your view, mind you, with this. And then in order to do a barrel roll, you have to like tap the screen really fast on the sides to do a loop-de-loop, you know, like where you do a U.
Yeah.
That was hard. I forget how to do it. I think you have to tap. I think it was more than just tapping up, but that one was annoying. And I think that was my biggest detractor from this was just the controls on that. Because, you know, I don't mind the weird story. I don't mind the way, you know, it for a game that has all these endings and kind of a big story, you just don't feel it because the maps aren't crazy. Like it ends up being where these maps are like little arenas where you're flying around shooting down enemies. It's not so much like in past games where you're like, oh, you're flying through Corneria. Oh, you're flying, you know, through Venom, stuff like that. So it just kind of takes a step back and feels very much like a fan made the game. And it's not a terrible game. I just didn't like it. You know, I don't think it's the worst game I've ever played, but it's definitely just because of the controls, I might say it's the one Star Fox game the lowest in my opinion of all of them. Maybe on par with Guard, which I'll get into soon, but
the controls and the artwork I think are what are really doing it for me. The character art is it's pretty rough. I do not like this fox. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like if Fox ate like a lemon. His face looks so squeezed together, right? And like his forehead is huge. Sorry for people who have giant foreheads out there, but like this is rough, man. Like, like it does not look good when compared to like previous titles. So
they're so goofy looking, and you know, a part of me thinks like, oh man, I really love this because it's just, I don't know. It just literally feels like a teenager wrote it and did the art.
Yeah.
But that I just can't get that image of like Crystal with tears looking away from Fox.
That's pretty
and it's like the big cityscape behind them.
Right.
And he looks like he's like taking a dump in his pants. Like he has that kind of facial expression.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game, oh man, I was so stoked to play it because I'm like, I never really heard about this game before. And then I'm like, oh man.
This is why you never heard of it before. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, it's kind of crazy that it'd be that bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, moving on from that, then you would get into the Star Fox 64 3D 5 years later, surprisingly, for the 3DS. But I already spoke about that. The only thing they really added new was a battle mode, so people could do 4-player LAN.
Right.
So there was that. You know, there was some different control changes with the gyro, some character dialogue, a little bit different, just to go with the touchscreen on the bottom, but nothing too crazy. The best of the handhelds, basically. And then we get into a very, I don't know how to politely say this, but Star Fox Zero. I feel like this game has either a love-hate kind of thing to it.
Right.
It was developed by Platinum Games, which, they do a lot of good games, right? They definitely had some misses, but this game was interesting because it came packed with a tower defense game called Guard. So when you bought it physically, it was bundled with the game, and it got its own case and everything, kind of making you think, oh, this game is really special. It's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I can get Guard out of the way first because it's going to be very quick. But it's like Five Nights at Freddy's, but you're in Star Fox. Like, it's hard to describe because you're like staring at camera screens and you're trying to do this tower defense game.
Weird.
And because it was designed for the gamepad of the Wii U, controlling it feels good. It's like, oh yeah, this was made for it. I like this. I don't mind playing this. But it just becomes very easy. And, I don't want to toot my own horn. I love tower defense games. So I'm used to ones that are very challenging and pushing me to the point of hating them. This one never got that way. Mm-hmm. This game was it felt like a very simple, tacked on game, and in my opinion, it's better than Command in the way that it plays, but it doesn't have the bad fan art and all that. So, I mean, Guard might be my lowest ranked Star Fox game, but going on to Zero. So I booted out my old Wii U for this, and which I had modded and I totally forgot about, and I was like, oh yeah, like I forgot I put this game on there. And it's interesting because it was the first Star Fox game in 10 years or so for a console. So you kind of expected it to be, phenomenal.
Right.
And, the Wii U, for people that never had one, which, I mean, I didn't have one during its life. I got it in clearance. So I didn't feel the hatred that a lot of these Wii U owners had. But the gamepad played a very big point in this game, for better or for worse. And I didn't know that when I started this game. I was thinking, ooh, I'm able to play it all on the screen like a normal Star Fox. And then you start getting to, oh, you have a cockpit on your gamepad, and that's how you aim. So that's basically you can kind of change the controls a little bit, but deep down it's basically with the sticks, you're controlling your TV screen, which is your movement going back and forth, all blah, blah, blah. But to aim your reticle, you have to look at your gamepad and you have to do it with gyro aim.
Oh, that's horrible. Okay.
And I don't mind gyro aim if I'm only looking at one screen. Right? Like Splatoon gyro aim, amazing. That's the game that got me into gyro shooting. This game I felt like it was taking on more than it could chew. And I was wondering, like, why do this? But I watched like a E3 Treehouse thing where he was kind of talking about it, Miyamoto, and he was always saying like he wanted to do something new, experimental with Star Fox Zero, and using the gamepad. Like, this was kind of almost like a showcase to be like, oh, look at all the stuff you can do with this gamepad. And like, he seemed like he was like really wanting this to work. And I mean, for the most part, if you're able to handle this kind of weird control system, like it's not terrible until you get to the little like chicken leg thing, like the little Landstalker thing. And because that's back in this game. Now, keep in mind, this is supposed to be kind of like a retelling of 64. So you'll still fly through Corneria on the first stage, but then you're doing like kind of different things towards the end of it. And then you fly in with that little land guy. And it's like, shoot these little balls off of this weird column in the middle of the tower. And it's like, oh, I got to do with the gamepad. So you're trying to do that. You're having this weird, clunky kind of tank control movement. It was just not cool.
Right.
I hated that aspect of it. But when you got to the actual flying, and I started to get used to this weird gyro aim.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end of the game, I hated it less. But it's kind of a bummer to think that's where Star Fox had really left off until, this modern one.
Right.
Because the idea behind this game, even though it's a retelling, it's kind of cool. Like, I think that, it has a mixture of all the previous games, right? Little places added from other games. Like, I think there's like 5 or 4 new locations. Yeah, it says 5 here. And you can also unlock special stuff with the amiibo. Like, there was a lot of stuff with this game that was kind of awesome with the amount of content it gave you. But it's just like, man, the gamepad really ruined it. And I mean, later on, I'd learn like, oh yeah, that's just the problem with the Wii U, is that so many games made you use that gamepad to take your attention away from the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because I think about it and I'm like, man, I play games all the time on my Steam Deck while watching TV. But having to actually focus on both screens very
It's mad
closely.
Confusing.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, if I'm going to have this in my lap, then I'm like breaking my neck going up and down. Or I can look like an idiot and hold my gamepad up to my TV.
Right.
And it's just, it's so weird. And it's a bummer because, like, this game, if it didn't have the controls, I don't think it'd be that bad. The story was kind of interesting.
Well, and visually it looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look really cool, and like the fight scenes are pretty awesome. Like, if you just look at gameplay footage, you would think this is a pretty cool game because you're not seeing the second screen of the Wii U and how the people are actually having to control it. But if you just watch like regular gameplay footage, you wouldn't realize that it is that difficult to control this damn thing, right? Like,
yeah,
it is kind of a shame because it would be cool. Like, I don't know. I like the way this looks. I think it looks awesome, but it sounds like controlling it was a nightmare. So that definitely would make it not fun to play.
Yeah, that's a bummer, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because during that generation, Nintendo was really trying to experiment. But I'm glad that, the 64 is getting... I mean, I wish there'd be a new Star Fox, right? No 64 story, but
right.
I always think about this when they remake games like this. There's a majority of people out there that don't want to emulate, that don't want to go through that hassle. I think the 64 version is on Nintendo Switch Online, though.
I think it is.
So, I mean, people could play that. But I know that a lot of people nowadays are like, ugh, especially the N64, right?
Mm-hmm.
That console is just kind of hard to go back in general. But if this gets people interested in Star Fox and they make more Star Fox games, that'd make me happy. I love these kind of games, especially after playing Ace Combat. I'm like, oh my God, I need more. Like, just flying like this. And I mean, am I going to get this remake? Probably not, just because I've played this story so many times. Maybe when it goes on sale, maybe, but I don't know. It's a game that for me, 64 holds such a special spot in my heart that I don't need a remake for it. But it would be cool to see a modern generation get maybe excited about this game, get into it. Like, I don't know. It's just it's interesting. I'm glad they're doing this.
I think it would be a cool proof of concept. So to see if people are into it. And if they are, that'd be awesome because hopefully we'll get something else. But I hope that throughout all of the stuff that they've done, that they kind of realize, okay, we need to keep it in the ships. Right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I like that's Star Fox bread and butter. Like that's whenever it's good. Every game so far, the biggest problem has been whenever you're not in the R wing, right? Like if you're in the R wing, you got a good game, right? Like you have a fun time. But as soon as you get out of the R wing, it throws it off, right? Because it ruins the flow of this thing. Like Star Fox has such a specific flow to it that it needs more R wing. It needs less of the exploration part, which was kind of a shame because it would be cool to expand on the universe. But if Star Fox is just a fun little flying shoot game, there's nothing wrong with that either, right? So, I mean, we'll see, because, I mean, they turned Metroid they try to make it an open world exploration thing, so we'll see what they do with this one, but I'm excited and very nervous to see where it goes. Like, I'm very curious to see what new fans are going to be excited about, like, what they're going to appreciate about this one, but, yeah, you never really know.
Well, there was a leak. I will say this real quick,
okay,
that this game had gotten leaked like maybe a month or two before the announcement, kind of that there would be a new Star Fox, but there was also someone saying that like there's also a whole new Star Fox, like not based on 64. But my idea is that might be like a concept that they have, but they won't actually push it unless they see the sales for this.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, because looking back, the Star Fox series sales really declined in Japan. So I'm curious to see like if this kind of rejuvenates interest over there too.
Well, I mean, you don't really see games like this anymore, right? Like, I mean, you do and you don't, right? Like, this is not one of those like
not simple
game of the year contender kind of game, right? Like,
yeah.
You need story, you need other things added onto it on top. Like this, I feel like Star Fox is a little too simple for that high level of things, and maybe that's why we haven't seen it back as much, right? Or why most of the games in the franchise were not developed, where they were developed by third party, right? Like there's a reason for that. It's because the concept is very simple, but it is a cool world. Right? Like, and when it's done right, it's really, really fun. Like, it is a great video game, but there's too many times, even in games that are doing it right, that they do something where it's like, ooh, okay, that didn't feel good anymore, right? Like, it's a difficult balance, but if they just stick with simple Star Fox and keep it simple, then you might have something really fun there. But we'll see. He just needs to stay in the plains, damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a little bit a longer one, but there's a lot of games to talk about here. I mean, Star Fox, right? And that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this little conversation here as our game of the month, or games of the month for May. Once again, just wanted to remind you guys what June's game is. It's Skies of Arcadia? Wow, my brain broke for a second. I was going to say something completely different. We're playing Skies of Arcadia, a nice little RPG game. Really, really, really fun, awesome little game there. We've already both started it, so we're excited to talk about that one later on this month for June. But yeah, man, the month of Fox is over, and it's been fun. It's been a blast going through nostalgia lane right there and seeing all these great games, and hope for the best when it comes to anything new Star Fox. We'll see what happens, but fingers crossed, to say the least.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. But until then, bye for now.